By the way, if you guys are tweeting out and putting something on Facebook, you can use @Expanse Syfy, tag that as well to get that retweeted and what have you. Mark, I want to ask you about a big new character we see obviously in the trailer there. People that read the books know that Bobby Draper is yes, right? So excited. Fans know what a huge deal it is to have her coming to the show. For those that haven't read the books, why don't you explain what this character brings to the mix?
Yeah, great. You know, Bobby is brilliantly played by Frankie Adams, and a huge new part of the season. We felt like we had picked a side as sort of the theme that's running through the season. We had the Martian perspective that has been only touched on in season one. We got a couple of glimpses of Mars and what their ethos is and what their politics are. This year, you're going to get a huge glimpse at what Mars is all about, so that it balances out with Earth and the Belt, and you're going to see it through the eyes of, like in the Expanse in general, you see big issues through the eyes of, you know, a foot soldier, a person you can relate to, somebody on the ground who really embodies the aspirations of our whole planet, and you're going to learn what does Mars have to do in this giant mix, and like we've always tried to do, that there's no, you know, there's not really clear-cut villains in this story. Everybody's fighting for what they believe in. Everybody's fighting for their people, for their nation, for peace, really. And Bobby is this giant new window into the story that combines book 2 and book 1 in a way that, well, we didn't ask those guys, but what do you think?
I mean, even more than that, all we see in the first season is Mars stuff getting blown up, so it was time for Mars to kick some ass.
Mark, you said something really interesting though too, which I hadn't really thought about, is that you say there aren't really villains, I guess, unless Protogen is a villain. But the three sides that you talk about, they're all convinced they're on the right side of this, right? I mean, that's pretty much the essence, right?
Yeah, our rule is everyone has to have a good argument. Whatever side they're on, they have to have a good argument right there, right? And if we start writing a character or a situation where it's clearly just evil for the sake of evil, we'll try to back away from it.
And we obviously know Mars is really good.
Even Protogen.
Well, we finally have an ass-kicking Martian.
I think that's what's interesting about this season, is that the overarching themes that are political and that are playing out the struggles between Belt, Earth and Mars actually get boiled down into the personal struggles, especially in the racing group between me and Holden, like as an Earther and Belter. You know, you will get to see everyone's individual struggles within this big system much more deeper this season. We built the world, we gave everyone the world, that's clear now. And now what you get to see is everyone kind of branch off, and you see a bit more of what makes them tick, what drives them, and what comes in between them and what doesn't, and the struggles that they have and the choices that they make. So it's a lot more deeper into the characters this year and who they are. It's a lot more interesting, and you're never sure whose side you're on. You're never sure who's right and what's wrong, who's flawed, who's not, and that's what makes the show awesome, I think, and it's even more so this year.
Daniel, what's it like as one of the authors who created these characters? What's it like to see them brought to life on screen? And you can tie that in, I guess, to the casting of Bobby Draper as Frankie Adams. And I know it's a very important casting, a lot of people looked at. What's it like when you sort of see them brought to life in this way?
One of the things that's really interesting when you're writing it by yourself is you get to make all the decisions. And you have your own skill set to work with, and that's it. When we've put this together with this team and these people and this family, it's a whole bunch of incredibly talented, thoughtful, serious, professional people who bring in lifetimes of experience to the project, and it turns out that it gets better that way. So that's cool.
For you?
For me? For who else? What we're talking about here?
You?
As far as casting Bobby, that was always going to be a very tricky job. Bobby Draper is a very well-defined character in the books. She's a very popular character in the books, and it's hard to find a 6-foot, oh my god, Polynesian woman who's, you know, got a lot of physicality and is a really good actor. They're thin on the ground. I mean, there I'm sure are a lot of folks like that who would be great for a job if they were actors, but not many of them wound up getting a career there. So we got very lucky finding Frankie Adams. She's a very talented actor. She is very, very big and tremendously intimidating. And
You have to say nice things about her.
yeah, she was able to carry the part, and it's one of those parts that we could have screwed up. It just, because we had a bunch of people really dedicated to it, we got it right this time.
Will there be other characters from Book 2, Calvin's War, like, say, Prax, that we might be meeting soon? Gentlemen, what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, we did find Prax, and he's amazing, and he's not who everybody online thinks he is.
He's great.
There's a whole bunch of people online who have seen that we have an Asian guy on the cast and think, oh, that must be Prax. It's like, actually, we have more than one. So there are options.
The funny thing about this show.
All right, Cass, I gotta know, what is it like to know you will now and forever, for the rest of your life, be linked to the words donkey balls? How do you go through that?
I think I would put it on my epitaph. I honestly, it's I'm a huge fan of Alex's southern type of humor and witticism, and I have to say, I've been signing autographs the past few days, and I've had more donkey ball requests than anything else. So I love it, and I found some chocolates in Hawaii that are called donkey balls, so I'm gonna probably be partnering.
It's a high moment in our show. The donkey balls.
Very few actors can deliver that line with the gravitas necessary to pull it up.
I like how you say gravitas.
Real property, yes.
He's Shakespearean trained.
Took me 15 years.
People just come up to you and just say that regularly too. So what I thought we could do is that instead of everyone here that you run into during Comic-Con doing that individually and having to deal with donkey balls all day, why don't we just all get it out of the way now?
Yes.
Right? And what we'll do is we'll all together on the count of 3, we'll just yell donkey balls at the top of our lungs. It'll be, well, I would say it'd be the world's biggest donkey balls, but that's something else. That's
No, I think it will be.
That's the section of the Guinness Book of World Records we don't want to be in.
I'm down.
So let's not do that.
I'm down for it.
On the count of 3, we'll all yell donkey balls. Cass, do you want to do the count off, or you want me to do it? You're going to talk.
Hey, Cas, don't count, man. Give them the lead-up lines.
Let's go.
I'm going to do the count off here, the sound off.
The world's biggest celebrating donkey balls shout. Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Donkey balls! I hope you all said it in your southern accents as well.
We're very classic.
Desmond's in the offer.
I knew I should not have brought my daughter to this panel. Honey, wherever you are, cover your ears for the next hour.
It's too late now.
And don't tell mommy about any of this, okay? Just, daddy's gonna be in trouble. All right. Wes, what I love about Amos, one of my favorite characters, is that he is just this total badass. He's a stone cold killer if he needs to be. We've seen that. But he also does sort of have hidden away this heart of gold, and he's so fiercely loyal, which I love about him.
Yeah, I mean, the Rocinantes really, and when you find us, the only relationship Amos really cares about is his relationship with Naomi. And but as second season progresses, the whole Rocinante crew really becomes his family, and it's the closest relationships that he's ever had in his life. But what's interesting is that the dynamic between of my relationship with Naomi gets challenged. And you get to see in second season who Amos is without her direction. You get to see how far he can go in the other direction. And that's very fascinating to play. And so you realize that he does need these relationships, and Holden and Naomi and Alex to balance him.
Well, talking about people maybe possibly going in different directions, there's like literally confetti falling. It's a parade for Amos, I guess.
That was the donkey ball confetti.
What's happening? Stephen, Holden straight up shot someone in the finale, and is he still I remember Kenzo said, "You're a good man who believes in mercy," and then Holden started shooting on him and left him on the planet to die, left him on the station to die.
Awkward.
So, yeah, right, a little awkward. So. what is he going forward? Is he starting to change, or are we going to start to see a little more Miller in Holden, or what's? Because I know in the book we start to see that a little bit around.
Yeah, I think, the more that Holden takes on as a leader, and the more responsibility that he takes on, especially after Eros, having experienced this awful genocide, hundreds of thousands of people being experimented on, he feels partially responsible for that. I mean, he was the one who knocked that first domino down, answering the distress call, and regardless of whether or not it's his fault, he certainly feels a bit of responsibility to it, and he comes out of Eros traumatized from what he's experienced, and his myopic focus in season 2 is getting rid of the protocol and getting rid of this bioweapon, and to get the job done, you see him grow into a leader where his idealism starts to slowly chip away, and his morality becomes less black and white, a tinge more gray. And he always feels like he's doing the right thing himself, but you see him start to drift into a Miller-esque ends justify the means kind of situation as a leader, and the mission does come first before almost anything else.
Does that cause conflict with the crew at all?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
there's also a really nice piece of like your image of the chipping away, because who kind of gathers up the pieces is Miller, who is weirdly finding his way back to idealism and trying to be this guy he thought he could be. He kind of takes the pieces of your idealism that you throw away as you take his darkness, and there's a really nice, beautiful relationship that happens between these two heroes who are kind of meeting at the weirdest part of their lives.
I really loved it, actually. I was a big fan of the books before we started shooting this show, and I thought there was incredible kind of lyricism to the fact that these two arcs kind of cross over at a certain point. Miller finds his humanity in the metaphor and the person of Julie Mao, and Holden is losing bits and pieces of that kind of naivete and idealism as he goes forward and is taking more on. And they've kind of got this odd couple, dynamic that's hilarious to play. And Thomas Jane is, obviously an amazing actor and a great guy. We have a blast kind of playing with those dynamics. But he starts to find pieces of himself that were maybe, crushed out and jaded over the course of his career as a cop. Dirty one.
He's on the ship with you guys, which is like, I had said your uncle coming to visit and never leaving the couch. So it kind of has, he invades this place that's not even a stable family yet. He throws himself in the middle of it and shakes everything up. So that's
one of the coolest things that has been intrinsically worked into the show. It's one of the most brilliant devices I think that was written in, is the fact that we're piloting, we're driving, we're part of one of the most sophisticated pieces of military machinery, the Rocinante. It's like probably the elite of the gunships in the Martian fleet, and none of us are military. I mean, Holden and Alex are ex-military, but we are a completely civilian, completely personal group. So there is no code that governs us to obey. There is no hierarchy, there is no anything. All that governs us is if we believe in each other. So when Holden goes off the rails, when anything happens that we don't believe in, the friction, the conflict, the whole system can just fall apart because we're not a military group. And that really puts an immense amount of drama and conflict into the show, because Alex is not obligated to pilot the ship for Jim Holden. And he will not be court-martialed if he disobeys. And no one can do that job in a highly stressful situation, so we all have to get along in order to survive, and we have to believe in each other. And that's what fuels a lot of season 2.
It does feel like your mistakes are amplified when you have like 20 nuclear missiles.
Yeah, I know Thomas Jane couldn't be here. I felt like we should have brought the hat anyway. I felt like we should have put the hat on the chair. Yeah, just put it there right in the middle.
maybe have its own chair. It's on tour. Right?
I could ask the hat like an hour worth of questions. I'm just saying, there's a lot to get into with the hat. Mark, this is such a sweeping book series that these guys have written. What was the biggest challenge in terms of adapting it to TV? Was it getting all those space scenes to look, high budget? And I mean, what was the most difficult aspect for you?
I mean, to we've said it before. I mean, it's been one of the coolest adaptations because so much of the lifting and the figuring out that we usually do in adaptations, gentlemen have done for us, which is thank you. I think when we look at their whole universe of books and novellas and stories and try to burrow in and we see opportunities to go, we don't have to go as fast as a film would, so we can burrow in and when these guys have written these brilliant novellas that are side stories and characters were touched upon in the books and not necessarily expanded on. So we'll take those stories and we'll weave them into the main action, and we'll take opportunities like their Rocinante crew knows each other a little better in Leviathan ways. We're like, we want to get them there, but let's back them up a few years and have them all, figuring out who each other are. So we're just sort of, it's not the what, it's sort of the how we're telling it, that the adaptation has been all about how to bring the story to life. But in general, we've really stuck, I think, to the soul of the books pretty closely, and the more we burrow in, the more, it really is a ridiculous embarrassment of riches, which is really rare in an adaptation. Usually you've got to break the thing down to its essence and build it back up. That wasn't the case here. It was just like, holy shit, how do we stuff all this in here?
Especially when you're mixing things up and you're moving things around, and Earth now we have in season 1, even though that's not in book 1, and moving all those elements around. I don't know how you guys work with each other to sort of figure that out.
We sort of ran things by those guys in our writing process to make sure we weren't breaking anything that couldn't be fixed later, or if we're breaking something for a good reason. But yeah, moving Avasarala forward, Bobby forward, giving all these great perspectives that you have to usually wait for in the books. I kind of liked it, and I think you guys.
Usually in adaptations, the people doing the adapting are stripping things out. The great thing about working with these guys is whenever they change stuff, they add more stuff in. So the story gets bigger and smaller.
Right, we've talked a lot about season 2 of The Expanse. We showed you an exclusive brand new trailer for season 2 of The Expanse. Is there anyone out there that would like to see an actual scene from season 2 of The Expanse? Maybe one or two of you. This has not been shown anywhere else. It will not be shown anywhere else until it's shown. You guys got first dibs on it. I know, it's sweet. I'm gonna let Mark set it up in just a second, but first I'm gonna use this opportunity to let you know that we are gonna get to your questions after this clip. If you've got questions for the cast, producers, there's 2 microphones right here. You guys can line up and ask them to the group. But Mark, why don't you tell us what we're about to see?
One of the real quick, we've been teasing all season 1, what is the Rossi capable of doing? And we've also felt like we've distinguished the show and want to keep on pushing the envelope on doing the kind of action you're not going to see anyplace else. So that's what we are going to see here.
Yeah! All right, let's check it out. You guys can start lining up the questions if anyone wants to talk about it. I gotta ask the cast who maybe hasn't seen that with all the effects put in and everything. What was it like for you guys to see that?
She a thing of beauty or what?
I was just squealing. I was like, ah!
So, damn, I didn't want it to stop. I wanted to keep going. I was like ready to get it.
The rest of that scene's really, really good. By the way.
That's just the tip of the iceberg of what ends up happening.
If anybody here is from Staten Island, you might have noticed that one of the ships up there is the Guy Molinari. Yeah,
Everyone's like, huh?
Just it's a funny thing for them. It's okay.
Google it. You'll see or I should say who Guy Molinari actually is. All right, let's get some questions in. We got 2 microphones. We'll alternate back and forth. Ask these guys anything you want, and just say your name and what you're going to have to ask. We'll start right here. Yes.
Hi, I'm Margaret, and I want to know, what is everybody's favorite new set piece or prop from the new season?
My automatic shotgun. Ty put a lot of thought and a lot of design work into this new shotgun, and I think it's an extension of Amos' personality, and I'm really excited about it.
It was hard to get it too, because it's a super expensive prop. Our prop master was really cool and hid some money so he could buy me a shotgun.
My favorite set this season is the Tycho
You know?
Wait till you see it.
Give us a little something. Tell us something.
It's ridiculous.
Oh my god, I don't even know what to say. It's massive, and there's screens and lights and controls and stuff.
It's interesting.
Just wait till you see it.
It's a place where it's a belter center, but they actually have money. So it's you know,
It's
nice.
Fuck. It's so cool.
Since Frankie's not here, I will say the Martian power armor is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Badass.
I would have to say I was so happy when I got my Martian battle armor.
Yeah.
Alex gets to wear his piloting armor and he gets to put on his native gear, which I really enjoy.
Thank you guys so much.
Steve, you got one or not?
And mine would still be Tycho. It's such, I mean, you know, it's such a beautiful set, and you know the way that it's shot so beautifully, it just like pops right off the screen. It's incredible to see.
Mark, how long is it to, you don't get too technical because it's going to make my brain hurt if not everyone else's, but in terms of some of these huge stations and space scenes, just the visual effects and stuff, what is that process like?
That starts with
Very long one.
yeah. I mean, as long as we're writing and producing and cutting the show, that stuff's in process the entire time to create. You know, every element of it from pencil sketch to that is months and months of time, and we have Bob Monroe up in Toronto is on set watching like how this is shot so he can get to work immediately 9 months before you're going to see that.
Like this kind of stuff you guys have seen on TV. Sometimes you see like stuff in outer space, you're like, I don't know. But this like looks so cinematic. It's just great.
Bob Monroe is just such a genius. I mean, we're really, truly very blessed to have him with us. He's incredible at what he does.
Awesome. Yes.
Hi guys, hi Cas.
Hello.
So my question is for Dom. One of my favorite things about the show is how strong and well-rounded female characters get to be. We don't get to see that a lot on TV, especially in sci-fi, so kudos to you guys as well. What is the likelihood of you working with the other female characters that are coming on in season 2 without, I guess, spoiling too much? Or are there going to be any opportunities for you to get away from these boys at all?
Well, there is some interaction with a female character. I won't say who it is, but you'll get to see that. And yes, there is a part of the season where I'm not with the boys, and I have to go off and do some really difficult things on my own, and make some really difficult choices and decisions. And the reason why I leave them is also really juicy. So I don't want to spoil it, but Naomi has a wonderful arc this season, and I love it so much, and she really gets to go through a lot on her own. She's constantly working out where her place is, being a belter with her new family, and also where her loyalties lie with her people. And so that is her challenge this season, and what's right and wrong, and she does some shit that's like questionable, and I think everyone's gonna, it's a really cool season for Naomi, and she still maintains her strength and her vulnerability throughout it, what makes her what makes her so great. So I think you guys are gonna love it.
I have to say, I have to give credit to the creators for this show. I don't think it gets said enough about how our female characters, how many shows do you know that have, in this case, 3 and more actually, you can see more female characters who are strong, powerful butt kickers, not white, and don't have to revolve around a guy. That is an accomplishment, and I thank you guys for giving us that.
Yeah, it's true, and even thinking about the books and characters we haven't gotten to yet, and smaller characters, they're all really strong and just fierce, guys. I mean, I want to ask you guys what that was like when you wrote these. Was that a conscious decision that have these very strong characters?
Yeah, I mean, strong characters are more interesting than weak ones. But the thing that makes every character interesting is that they have to be strong and vulnerable at the same time. Everybody is both.
Great question. Thanks so much. Yes.
Hey guys. Being that there was different storylines that converged at the end of season 1, do you guys focus more on your storyline and rather be surprised on how they converge, or do you take the whole series as a whole when you're reading through and stuff?
Oh, we look at everything. I mean, we all probably read the whole thing separately on our own, but we also get together as a group and rehearse every weekend and go through our scenes and stuff and flesh them out. But I think you have to take the whole universe into consideration to see where you, as a group and as an individual, fit into it. So, for sure, I mean, you guys can answer.
I like to, yeah, I mean, I definitely like to start with the macro before we even start. I read a book a season. I like to read the book and kind of understand the direction that we're heading in, the direction that we're going as a group, and then we come together and we start to take each section as a team. We rehearse every Sunday, and a lot of times we have the writers there, the director there, and we go through beat by beat, piece by piece, and really carefully construct the art because we know where it's going and we know the destination where they're going to be.
I think it's important to have the whole context in mind, just to know as an actor and as a performer how to best service the story as a whole, to make it most effective so it lands with the audience in the most real, honest, and compelling way.
Thanks so much. So Wes, you read the book as you're getting to the season, Wes, so you only read the first 2 books?
I read the first book before I even knew they were doing a series.
Right.
I heard about it, I was at Comic-Con for work for something else, and I heard about the books, and I read the first. I don't know if I was finished, but I was definitely deep into it, and then I found out they were doing a series, and it was kind of surreal how all that worked out. And then so I made a conscious choice from that point forward to read a book a season, because I actually started the second book right before we started shooting, and I started getting in my head, I was like, well, doesn't this happen? That's the book. It hasn't happened yet. This is pulled up, and this is... So I said, okay, a book a season to kind of...
So you don't know what happens way down the line?
No!
Good luck with that! Right over here.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, so I actually won the signed script, so I wanted to say thank you.
Great.
Yeah. Really nice.
And I love your Holden.
Thank you. Amazing. Even though I'm like gigantic, I could probably cosplay Shed a little easier. But my question is actually for Cas. There seems to be a lot of conflict between the other members of the Rossi. How's Alex doing? Is he alright? Is he okay? Like I need.
Alex is he's kind of like he likes to sit back, relax, and just enjoy the ride. He's an observer, and he wants to keep this family united, and he's kind of like the big brother and the glue that keeps them all. He's the guy who'll kind of cook a family dinner when everyone's fighting, just to make sure that they're all getting along and getting to talk it out.
But this season.
Except this season, he has a few. We got to deal with a lot actually. All 4 of us. I mean, the end of season 1 has a huge impact on all of us emotionally. We basically just witnessed genocide, and each one of us deals with it in a completely different way. And Alex is hit pretty hard. So to answer, he wants to have that kind of right side and the glass is half full attitude, but season 2 is going to make it a little bit tougher on him. But he does try to be the big brother.
We have a little friction maybe building in our relationship as well.
These 2 misfits, they get into it a little bit, yeah.
It's so great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yes, sir.
Hi, everybody. As a huge fan of the books, it's been a real thrill watching my vision in my head of what you guys wrote come to life. And thank you for bringing it to life. It's been a blast watching it so far. My question is, without going too far into spoiler territory, are you planning on following the same path with Miller, or sort of some other direction?
Good question. There's a big event with Miller. We're about 2/3 of the way through Leviathan Wakes, and at the end of that book, there's a big sort of event. It's a good question. I'll see you guys want to handle that.
No, well, we're as we said, we're interested in maintaining the integrity and the soul of the books, and at the same time, this thing has taken on a life of its own because of these great people. It evolves and it becomes something that is very respectful of the books, but the story is going to go where the story needs to go. So that being said, no one will be disappointed by the answer to your question.
Definitely disappointed yet.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I have a question for Wes.
Could I just ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Have you seen the show?
Yeah, I love it. It's amazing.
Do you? So before we started,
Yes.
I had to pick a number,
Oh.
and it was 6.
Yeah.
And you're the 6th person, so you get a prize.
Lucky number 6, our amazing prop master who got Wes's incredible shotgun sent me this to give out to a lucky fan. So,
Can I give it to
everybody recognizes that, right?
You just have to say the words when you've got it. Congratulations.
If you need any help, I can coach you.
Polyglot Menages?
Mendation.
That's the actual form that we use in the...
This is getting framed, right? All right, so my question is for you, Wes. All of the crew of the Ross scene got a scene with Amos during the entirety of the first season where they got to see his very pragmatic go at survival and how he changes. And I was wondering how that affected everyone's view of Amos and how that's going to be going forward in the seasons. Like Holden and Naomi and Alex.
Yeah, I think, as I was saying before, as Holden kind of becomes a more legitimate leader, he's taking on more responsibilities, becoming less idealistic. That scene that he has with Amos in the first season about the churn, which is an incredible novella, where he's, explaining about the nature of the game, the only game is survival. That starts to ring a lot more true to Holden after Eros. And you start to see, actually, these two characters start to drift towards each other in season.
We start to get on the same page, Holden.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how that plays with the dynamic within the crew. Because we're at each other's throats for the majority of the first season, but as that changes, it causes friction in other places. And it's fun stuff to play with. They start to drift towards each other's worldview in a big way in the second season.
Alex has absolutely no clue where Amos is coming from.
Even after that bar scene?
Even after that bar scene. There's a great bar scene. It's so funny. We have the most fun in bars, Amos and I. But they come from some completely polar opposite perspectives. Alex is like a laid-back, chill family man. He has not seen the kind of violence that Amos has, so a lot of times he doesn't understand where he's coming from. And that's a big part of season 2, is Alex starting to see inside this man's head and realizing this isn't just some guy who likes to be tough and beat things up, but there's actually a lot going on inside there, and that's a big part of the journey for season 2, is these two characters coming closer together and understanding each other.
I think for Naomi, their relationship is challenged this season, and what's interesting, what they've always been about is they've always accepted each other exactly as they are, and that's why we get along the way we do. But it's challenged this season, and I think within Naomi's quest in her own way, her breaking away from the group a little bit, it has its toll on their relationship, and it plays out beautifully. So I think everyone's going to love that.
Thank you very much, guys. And
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thanks, bud.
Congratulations.
Enjoy your prize, brother.
Bring us something. What's up, man?
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for coming down. My question's for the writers. It seems like you guys do a pretty good job, but I was wondering how much you guys look into orbital mechanics and space flight than any other science when you're creating the books? And then also, how do you make that come onto the TV screen too?
Yeah, so we have a rule. We do a fair amount of research, and then before we publish the book in the last edit, we remove all the math. Because people will catch us where we get it wrong.
We're wrong. We've always simply tried to reach for a Wikipedia level of plausibility. So that's not hard science, but kind of cheese, texture, cheddar, sort of, yeah.
But I know a lot of rocket scientists.
And I have a degree in biology. And if he does the rock side of the wet stuff, and between the two, it comes pretty close.
I think between, Narain Shankar, our partner in crime, and Hawk, and these guys who sometimes, he's an engineer. There's a lot of vetting that goes with. So I think we pass muster. Sometimes you ask these guys, how do you spin up an asteroid? And they're like, I don't know, very carefully.
We seriously have conversations in the writing room about physics. Narain is much better educated than any of us. He's actually has a doctorate in physics. So we can go, yeah, okay, now, but if it's going like this, then wouldn't the rest of the direction be, and so it's an incredibly geeky.
I take great pride in the fact that Narain and I the two of us argue more than anyone else in the room, and I'm right about 50% of the time. So I really feel like I'm holding my own here.
One layer beyond Wikipedia, I would say, like wrote a little more on.
Absolutely. I'm a trained scientist, and it is 100% accurate.
Wes is a Juilliard trained scientist.
Juilliard trained scientist.
I love our tech in the sense that our tech is so subtle, it is all there, but it is not in our faces. Like, how many people love that broken comm unit that Miller holds, right? Like, all my cell phones are broken, so it's like, obviously Miller's with me. But I just love how our tech is all fleshed out, but it's just under the surface of everyday life.
And having Narain on set as well, if we have any questions about how we're supposed to be moving, whether or not the ship is moving or not, how that affects the gravity, he's always there. He's got, like Mark said, he's got a degree in applied physics from Cornell, so he's a pretty smart guy and keeps everybody honest. We know what we're doing.
Putting that degree to use. Nice. Good question, man.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, my question is also for our authors. You're still very much writing novels, so how much do you find the experience now of translating this to a visual medium impacting your process? Do you think about it as you write scenes now, how it was translated?
Good question.
No, you have to keep those separate. And the nice thing is we're in the process of adapting, books 1 and 2 and bits of novellas and some stuff from, other later books, but only in very small bits, while we're busy writing book 7. So there is a gap there.
Right.
And it's big enough that there's the book retelling of the story and there's the show retelling of the story. And we really try to keep those from cross-pollinating.
I'm glad you can do it.
That said, you can no longer write Chrisjen Avasarala without hearing Shohreh. The voice is just there now.
Thanks so much. Yes.
Hi, my question is for the whole cast, kind of an open question. One of the things that's so great about the show is that you get to explore a lot of really interesting sort of celestial objects in the solar system. Like, we get to see Eros, we get to see Phoebe, we get to see Ceres, which has become, almost no one knows about Ceres in school, and now it's like, the central place in the show. So my question is to either writers or actors, or anyone here, what places would you like to see the show explore? And in particular to the actors, what places would you like to see your characters see that they haven't seen yet?
You are so excited.
You love this shit.
Yeah. You look like you're about to burst. It's so cool. Hi.
Where do we want to see in the solar system next? Like, what do we?
I would like Naomi to go to Mars because I think she'd just be walking around.
These
motherfuckers. We're out here in the belt, and you guys have got domes and shit. That's where I'd like Naomi to go.
But what's interesting is what Elon Musk is talking about is trying to go into Mars in 2025. And so, I think they'll just have to consult with the show and to see, what it's like there and how we do it. We already figured it all out, Elon. Just give us a call.
Just give us a call. We're here.
Yeah, if you're here, I'll take you on a tour.
Something really interesting starts happening closer to home with Venus in the story. So I think, at a certain point, I think that'd be a really interesting place to explore.
Great question. Thanks so much, man. Good one. Yes.
Hi. So I've heard Ty and Daniel describe the Expanse as what happens, what a pain in the ass it is to have a paladin on the team. And we know that these characters are all pretty broken, they're all sort of damaged, they've been drifting. And what I want to know is, how does it help these people who have clearly made some very bad decisions in their lives in order to end up on the cant? How do they feel now to have a mission and a reason and Holden's idealism pushing them towards some new end?
It's a great question. Really good question. And none of us have an answer.
I actually feel like that's what brings us together, is that we know that we've all made some questionable decisions, and it's why we're there in the first place. Yeah, I can't answer it.
You know, like you said, you know, just before, everyone on the camp when you meet them is running from something, right? So the dynamic between the crew in the first season, they're just trying to survive hour to hour. You know, it's a constant, it's the churn, it's survival, it's the game. In this season, you know, the first season, the plot really kind of forces themselves on the Rossi. They're, you know, reacting to what's going on. In this season, they really do take control to push the plot forward. And I think what happens on Eros, in many ways, and experiencing what happens there, you know, certainly gives Holden an almost myopic focus on what's important, and the stakes are so vastly high that the politics within the solar system start playing out within the crew because they're starting to get to know each other.
But also, what you do see in this season is their past coming back. For every single, especially the four of us, what actually starts to haunt us and pushes a lot of our arcs forward is the stuff we don't know about them and what's happened before we were on the front. And especially for Naomi, I mean, you're constantly questioning whose side she's on, and so does she start to do that this season. And I think everything, the choices before, play so much into this season of what happens between us and to us individually.
And like what you said earlier, you know, every one of us is running from something, and we are kind of isolated in our own way, and we each kind of have a loneliness, you know, when you pick up with us. But because we're forced in these extreme circumstances to really have to bond together and survive, we become like a family, and we become intimate in a lot of ways. And when you become close to people, you start to see their skeletons, you start to see their past and the ghosts that they're carrying with them. And that's what I think is so fascinating about this season, is really seeing where these people are coming from and what they're running from.
And I think everyone on the Canterbury, as I've said a couple of times, we're hiding from who they really are. And the decision that Holden made, the man who never made a decision in his life, makes the smallest little decision, and it basically transforms everyone's lives.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Holden. And I don't know, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else's character, but Alex didn't know who he was. He didn't know what he wanted. He didn't know if he was a Martian or a family man or a father or a husband or a pilot. He didn't know. Even when he was on the Canterbury, he didn't know. And like it or not, Holden's decision forced Alex to step it up, to realize his potential, and literally to save everyone's life. If each of us did not step up to the plate, forced into the fire, on multiple occasions we would all be dead. And so, love him or hate him, he is the reason why we are on our path to self-discovery and to realizing our full potential. So I don't think we can actually say thank you, but we can say it was meant to be.
You can say thank you. It's okay.
Oh no.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So with all the zero-G that you guys do in the show, it seems like it's a lot of intense wire work. I was just curious about how you all, I guess, either prepare or recover from that, and how you handle it individually.
Sure. Puts a little pressure on some sensitive places.
Are we back to donkey balls again? Did we just come full circle?
He can't get enough.
He's demonstrating a little wire work recovery there.
It's funny that you say that, because I was in the scene we were just watching. I'm going to fix the damage that's done, and it's in between these two holes. And there's a lot of wire work involved, and I saw it and I started getting PTSD of remembering this day that we had to do. And we were in this, they call it the Jumbo Studio. It's huge, it's massive. And I was at the very top of the rafters, and I come down between these two holes, and I'm upside down. Well, they got so focused on the camera and the right angle, and I'm upside down, hanging there, and I have all the weight of the spacesuit on, and the blood's going to my face. And I'm like, guys, I might be a guy, and I'm getting dizzy, and I'm floating there, and they're like, no, the camera goes this way, and they're so small, I can barely hear them from down there. And I'm like, well, we better go? What's going on?
Yes. Love the way.
You know what is amazing about it though is that you prepare these scenes, and a lot of times when you actually get there on the day, the preparation work that you've done for how scenes change at a certain point or different gear shifts or whatever, you start floating upside down and mimicking zero gravity, and it changes the choices you make as an actor, and it starts to inform the way you're playing the scenes, which I thought was actually the most interesting part for me, just being an actor geek. But it's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, this scene works better this way because this is the reality of what's going on. I just couldn't imagine it in my head, but once you're upside down, you need to imagine it.
You have no idea how hard it is when you will have to act in zero G, because it's not just fireworks. I know you guys remember that scene in episode 4 where our beloved Shed meets the big one. That scene, we had wire work, we had zero G, we had gravity coming on, gravity coming off, we had blood, we had people sealing units and things like that. There was so much technical stuff going on. It was an absolute circus for us going on. We took like 8 hours to shoot that whole thing. And the wires had to be done, but we also had to do, zero G acting. The actors had to basically...
It's my favorite thing, when you're just like...
because
I don't know, and then you've got to make sure your arm's really soft and floaty while you're screaming something at someone else.
Or you do a great take and you're like this, and they go, Wes, it's 0G, and you're like, damn it! That was my best take!
Or you're doing that and they're like, it's not 0G, and you're like, oh. Copy.
By the way, the next Comic-Con panel we do will be at 0G, so make sure to please come for that panel. I'm being told that we're pretty much out of time. Before I dock the row seat at the station and let the passengers disembark, I want to give you a few quick announcements. Season 1 of The Expanse will be on Amazon Prime December 14th. Before Season 2, check that out. The Magicians panel is going to be on in just a few minutes. And before then, we've got an exclusive look at the next season of 12 Monkeys that you guys can check out right here, as well as a first look at the new Syfy series Incorporated. So check that out as well. But right now, I want to thank all you guys for coming. I want to thank the gang of The Expanse.